Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Activate and Illuminate podcast with Mel. I'm your host, Mel. Together, we're going to be diving into some stories of ordinary people doing a little bit of extraordinary things. People who've maybe pushed their bodies, their mindsets, or maybe society's paradigms. So you're going to find yourself maybe wanting to laugh, cry, or even be inspired. We would invite you to share, like, and subscribe, to sign up for our newsletter as well on activateandilluminate.com. Now, just keep in mind that this information that you are going to hear is informational and educational for entertainment purposes only. This does not constitute professional advice of any kind. The views expressed are those of myself and guests only. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional and legal advice regarding their own situations. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, and thanks again for being here. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for your time today and for being here. You are going to be absolutely stoked at who we have on today. Now, his name is Dr. Sam Osmanagich, and when I heard about what he had done and what he had discovered, I was intrigued. I was surprised that I'd never heard of it before, and I was fascinated to learn more. Dr. Sam Osmanagich is a PhD. He's a scientist. He's an author, 27 different books. He's best known for investigating the Bosnian Pyramid Complex, one of Europe's oldest and largest pyramid structures. Now, he has a doctorate in social sciences focused on ancient civilizations, and he spent over 40 years researching pyramid cultures, megalithic sites, sacred geometry, and the healing properties of ancient spaces. So I'm sure you can agree that we're going to have a fascinating discussion. So welcome, Dr. Sam.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm very happy to be with here today.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time so much, and just for being willing to jump on and to share what you know. So the little bit that I know about what you have discovered, if I know we're going to get into it and we're going to get into some of the science and into some of the details, but just to blow people away right off the bat, if you think, what do you actually think the truth is of what you've discovered and what maybe humanity does not know yet?
You know how we've been programmed in schools that pyramids were built in Egypt and Mexico and they were used as tombs for the pharaohs? Well, that's all wrong. Number one, pyramids are built all around the planet on all 6 continents. And number two, after I have investigated all 155 pyramids in Egypt, not a single one has a mummy. The pharaohs have been buried at 600 kilometers to the south from the Giza Plateau, in the Valley of Kings, in Thebes, Memphis, Abydos, in Dendera, in Luxor. So, in 21st century, we need to find the real answers to very simple questions. Who built pyramids around the world? When? How? And why? In the last 20 years, I've been running the Bosnian Pyramid Project. And I think this is the most exciting project in the world of archaeology. And I'll tell you why. We have revolutionarily changed the narrative about the pyramids. They were not built for one dead body, king or pharaoh. They do not belong to the past, but they belong to the present and the future because they were built for the living communities. The only way to realize the true purpose of pyramids is to have an interdisciplinary scientific approach. In the last 200 years, Egyptology has been guarding Egyptian pyramids jealously for themselves. But we need engineers and physicists and geophysicists and medical doctors and spiritual scientists to try to reveal the secrets of pyramids. And guess what? 20 years ago, while I was doing research about the pyramids around the world, I came to my home country of Bosnia. At that time, I lived in Houston, Texas, in the United States. I came to this central Bosnian town of Visoko to visit the local museum. But what really caught my attention was this elevation, which everybody called natural hill, because it was covered by forest and vegetation. But I could see a regular geometry, 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners. And compass showed me that those 4 sides perfectly match the cardinal points, east, west, north, and south. And this is how the pyramids were built, all the way from China, 250 of them in the central province of Shanxi, through Cambodia, Bokeh Pyramid, Gunung Padang in Indonesia, Nubian pyramids, 224 of them in Sudan, Egyptian pyramids, Peruvian pyramids, or even American pyramids, Cahokia pyramids in the Cahokia National Park. Back in 2005, I got permission from the government to do some preliminary research. And everything I did, geological core drilling, archaeological trenches, lab analysis, there were anomalies. I wrote the book, I had a big press conference in the capital city of Sarajevo, and I announced the news to the world that the first European pyramids have been discovered. And in the last 20 years, under our supervision of non-profit, non-government foundation, under the name Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation, it has become the most active archaeological site in the world.
Wow, the most active archaeological site in the world. So tell me, are you still discovering new things about this, like every day?
Yeah.
Like it sounds fascinating.
You're right. Yes. Usually archaeology, running by the mainstream organizations like Department of Archaeology, universities, museums, it lasts 10, 15 days a year, 10 diggers, 1 archaeologist, and we hear about the results 5 or 10 years later. Not in our case. We are busy all 12 months a year. Every year we have hundreds of volunteers. In the last 15 years, we've had 1,400 volunteers from 64 countries and 6 continents. Archaeologically speaking, this is what we have discovered so far. 6 pyramids, which we named the pyramids of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Earth, Love, and the 6th pyramid, 2 tumuli. Tumulus in archaeology is the conical artificial hill. And then 7 entrances to prehistorical underground tunnels. We started with 1, pyramid tunnels, back 20 years ago. But then in the meantime, checking the neighborhood area, we've been discovering more entrances. So far we have cleared and protected for the visits 3.6 kilometers, more than 2 miles of those prehistorical tunnels. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, with its height of 368 meters, which we've determined using the most modern technology called LiDAR scanning. It has a height of 368 meters, which is 2.5 times taller than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Orientation to the north, as the pyramids in Egypt or China or Peru and other countries. In the case of Great Pyramid, it has an error of 0 degrees and 3 minutes, which is almost perfect. But the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, its northern side has an error of 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and 12 seconds. It's a genius what these builders were capable of doing. And then, when we started removing the soil from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, 1 meter, 3.5 feet below the soil, we started discovering blocks, some of them rectangular, some of them square blocks, one on top of each other, one next to each other. We have analyzed the samples in 7 different institutes for materials in Italy, in France, in Czech, in Slovakia, in Bosnia, and they all told us that it was an artificially made concrete. When it comes to concretes, we can measure the quality of concrete using 2 elements. One is hardness. The harder the concrete, more durable, better quality. Our concretes in 21st century have hardness from 10 to 60 megapascals. 60, the best quality. And the concrete from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, after we have analyzed 100 samples, it goes from 74 to 155 megapascals, which is the best quality ever. And the second element for the quality of concrete is the water absorption. If water can get inside the concrete during the winter time, it freezes. And then the ice has a tendency to expand. and then concrete breaks. Therefore, we try to keep the water absorption very low. Our norms in 21st century up to 3%. Bosnian pyramid concrete only 1% superior. So now we are facing the fact that we have had superior builders from the ancient past. But that's not all. This is about the structures. When we started investigating the layout of the pyramids and other structures, we were shocked. We could see that they have applied the elements of sacred geometry. What is the sacred geometry? The ancients were smart. They knew when they apply those elements, they generate the movement of the energy. And those elements are number pi, 3.14, number phi, 1.618, or golden section, equilateral triangle, hexagon, flower of life, and Fibonacci spiral, or golden section spiral. The tops of three major pyramids in Bosnia, Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon and the Dragon, when we connect them, they have a distance between them of 2,180 meters, 2,180, 2,180, or we have perfect equilateral triangle with inner angles at 60 degrees. And maybe the most exciting discovery from this year is about the Fibonacci spiral. Where do we see this spiral? Everywhere in the nature, from micro to macro world. For example, the seashells, they have this spiral. The sunflowers, the spiral. Our DNA, the spiral. Even our face, you start from the tip of the nose, eyes, chin, forehead. This spiral is everywhere, from the small stuff to the big stuff. For example, the tropical storm, the eye of the storm, and then the tropical storm is formed like this Fibonacci spiral, all the way to the spiral galaxies. It seems to me that the universal mind or creator have been using the energy movement following this Fibonacci or golden section spiral to create all the life. Therefore, we hear very often, about the cosmic harmony, about the cosmic balance. Well, this Fibonacci spiral symbolizes this cosmic harmony. And guess what? The Bosnian pyramid builders were laying out the structures following this spiral. For example, one of the spirals starts at the top of the Pyramid of Love. On the spiral, we have top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, then it intersects with the top of Temple of Mother Earth, top of the Dragon Pyramid, top of the Tumulus. We have total of 4 spirals in the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. So every year we have some new discoveries. In the beginning, it was about the concrete, about the geometry, about the orientation. But now with the time, we realize that these builders were extremely smart. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were not only the genius builders, because they were able to manipulate with the millions of tons of materials, the same like in Egypt or Mexico or Peru or China. But in Bosnia, we can see those elements of sacred geometry. And once we have expanded the project to other sciences, especially physicists and engineers, then we realize that pyramids are much more than just the structures. They are actually energy amplifiers. How do we know that? Below the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, there is an iron plate. Iron generates electromagnetic field. The pyramid pulls this electromagnetism up, amplifying it. How do we know? Because we have measured at the base of the pyramid and at the top of the pyramid. At the top, the signal is 50 times stronger. So pyramid amplifies the electromagnetic fields. And then below the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, we have a water flow. Water moves, it releases beneficial negative ions. The pyramid amplifies the concentration of negative ions. How do we know? Well, again, because we have measured special instruments called air ion counters, and we measured the highest concentration of negative ions ever. And then the next element, during the excavation, we discovered a lot of quartz crystal. As you probably know, quartz crystal has the ability to amplify the energy and to transform the energy. from one form, in our case electromagnetic field, which we measure, to another form, to ultrasound, which we also measure. So, in the pyramid, in the tunnels, we have measured 28 kilohertz frequency of the ultrasound. Well, why is this frequency important? According to the American researcher Ralph Ring, this is the frequency of the levitation. And indeed, when you go to the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, you feel light, the levitation frequency. So, with the time we have realized, through all these measurements, engineers, physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers, quantum physicists, people with the scientific instruments, oscilloscope, spectrometer, EMF, and so on, we've realized that ancient builders knew how to create very specific beneficial frequencies, which affects everything around it. Those frequencies, they affect, for example, health in very beneficial way. You go to the tunnels under the pyramid, you can breathe very well. People with the respiratory problems, they start breathing so well that after a few times, they don't need inhaler, air pump no more. People with the high glucose in the blood, high sugar in the blood, it gets normalized. People with the pains and all other health issues, we can see unbelievable health improvement. So our conclusion was pyramid energy was used to protect what is the most precious to us. That would be our health. And then in the pyramid tunnels, we've discovered 5 tunnels with the water. We have analyzed the water. First, conventional analysis, like physical, chemical, and microbiological analysis. Water is perfect, it's drinkable, no viruses, no bacteria, no fungi. pH is perfect, it's 7.45, which is the pH of our blood. But when we send the water samples to Lake Dr. Masaru Emoto in Japan, he got that water frozen, and then he took a photo through the electronic microscope. He realized that the pyramid water has a hexagonal shape. It's a perfect shape. It's an element of sacred geometry. Dr. Emoto became famous. What is it?
Sorry to interrupt you. So it's already structured.
Exactly. That's the correct expression. It is a structured water. The water that we drink, the kitchen water or the bottled water, it's been treated with the chlorine, which is a poison, fluoride, which is a poison. It has traces of heavy metals, and it has microplastic. This is the water that we drink daily. This water is energetically dead. No structure whatsoever. So your question was really right. And the Bosnian pyramid water, beautiful hexagonal structure with crystal-like structure. Just by seeing this photo, you can tell this is a happy water. This is high vibrating water. This is the structured water. And Melanie, guess what? We are what we drink. If we drink the water which is energetically dead, then we are going to vibrate low. If we eat food, which is also energetically dead, we vibrate low. We are what we eat. We are what we drink. We are what we think. We are where we spend our time. And when you are around the pyramid energy, everything is different. Pyramids were not used, like I said, for one dead body, but to improve our health, our water, our food, our immunity, our spiritual senses, the atmosphere around us. And the beauty of what we do in Bosnia is that everything we do is measurable. If you can measure, you can scientifically prove. So, this is totally different approach to the archaeology. They teach the students of archaeology and history in the faculties, universities to find a little piece of ceramic or primitive tools. But how can you explain, for example, the Great Pyramid of Egypt with pieces of ceramics? You cannot. All the primitive tools, you cannot. So that's why it's important to have so many different scientific disciplines, different scientists from different fields. And with them, slowly, we are collecting a big picture about the pyramids and their true purpose.
Wow, so much. It completely shifts everything that we know about everything.
Yes, it does. What they were telling us in schools 10, 20,000 years ago, we were primitive cavemen. Today we are the most advanced, the most intelligent, the most beautiful. Well, we are not. We simply live in the last cycle of humanity. Of course, people are saying 6,000 years ago there are Sumerians, 5,000 Babylon, Akkad, Assyria, Hittite, ancient Egypt, ancient India, ancient China. This is just the last cycle of humanity. The one before ended 12,000 years ago with a huge catastrophes known as the end of the last ice age. There was another one before that, 18,000, 34,000, 55,000, 74,000. So it's a cycle after cycle after cycle. Humanity and the other pyramid and megalithic site builders, they were reaching the peaks. The catastrophe comes, destroys everything, and every time such global catastrophes would hit our planet, more than 99% of humanity would vanish. They would be wiped off from the face of the planet. Very few who would hid themselves, in underground tunnels or natural caves on the top of the mountains. Once they come back on the surface, they would need to start from the beginning. And that's exactly what happened 12,000 years back. So we simply live in the last cycle of humanity. And guess what? Next time the catastrophe hits, and it's going to happen rather soon, those who survive, a very small number, they will think that they are the first one, the most intelligent, the most advanced, and the most beautiful, and they're going to be making the same mistake like we have. So we need to understand that. Once we understand that there are more advanced civilizations in the past, then we are ready for the next step. How we can use some of that knowledge for our civilization, how we can better our civilization, how we can improve it. When you see how those people were smart, they built the pyramid complex. That was one-time investment. And after that, they didn't need to do anything else because they had running water, there's kinetic energy, they have movement of different energy forms, they have electromagnetic field, ultrasound, electrical field, the negative ions, quartz crystal, and they were getting this running machine with the beneficial energy that would affect rather large area and community. It was clean, unlimited, and free energy. And look at us today, Melanie, last 150 years, we do everything opposite. Dirty industry, dirty energy, coal, oil, nuclear, catastrophes, ecological catastrophe all the time. Secondly, it contaminates. And number 3, it's limited. And number 4, it's very expensive. And based on those facts, we have small number of monsters who call themselves elegantly elites, 15 families who own 90% of all the energy resources around the planet, who have hundreds of billions or even more than that on their accounts. On the other hand, we have 90% of us, normal, good intentional people, who struggle to cover our expenses from first of the month to the next first of the month. The problem on this planet is not the wars or aggressiveness or things like that. The wars are caused not by us people. They're not caused by the countries or borders or races or different religions, but by those elites. It is in their interest that countries fight all the time so they can sell the weaponry because they own all the big, military and industrial complex. They own the media, so they give us projects all the time. 5 years ago, it was Corona project, and it was climate change project. Today it is wars and wars and wars project. They give us, they promote those projects through their media. You and I, we are not the owner as a public interest. We are not the owner of ABC or CBS or CNN or BBC or it's a private interest. Politicians, they have them in their pockets. 2 biggest problems right now on this planet. One is energy that I just mentioned, and the other one is unfair distribution of the resources. Imagine that we have free and clean and unlimited energies. No need for oil-filled equipment, for oil tankers, for refineries, for chemical industry, for plastic all over the place, for pharmaceutical mafia, for poisons or additives to the food industry, or poisons or additives to the water industry. No need for that. Clean energy would solve so many problems. And fair distribution would erase hunger. from this world forever. Based on those two columns, we would have society of free women and free men. And when I mentioned the pyramid builders, they were smart. They achieved clean, unlimited, and free energy. It cannot replace all our needs, but we can have it for some of the major, because water is a major, food is a major, health is a major aspect of our life. Our spiritual senses, I'm not talking about religions or faith, I'm talking about development of our spiritual senses, feeling the energy, seeing the energy, seeing the colors of the energy, even telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation. These are spiritual senses that can help us to figure out the true spirituality. What is behind, what is beyond the physical aspect? That's what I call spiritual aspect. And pyramid energy can help us to develop our spiritual senses. So some of the major aspects of our life, we can use the pyramid for that. So you see how the pyramids is not about the past, about some kings. It is about the knowledge that we can harness even today. That's why I'm saying it's important to learn what the ancient civilizations knew.
So what's your thoughts on everything that we have seen lately with the Egyptian pyramids and the pillars underneath them and everything that's coming to light? Do you think that that's just something that we're slowly being allowed to know about, or to just prepare for this? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I think that discovery from 3 Italian researchers, Filippo, Corrado, and Armando, that they announced on May 15, 2025 at the press conference in Milan, is extremely important, and it's coming at the right moment. So, through their discoveries, we realized total of 5 different things. I'll mention them briefly. The first one, they are saying there are not only 3, but 5 chambers.
This episode brought to you by protandemcanada.lifevantage.com. What if you could turn on your body to work like it was supposed to? What if you could have it remember how to handle toxins, stress, and the environment like it used to when you were young? What if it worked for your pets too? What if this is not about supplementing something that is missing, but activating something that has gone dormant? About actually turning on your body to make these things again. Learn how to activate your body now. Check us out, protandemcanada.lifevantage.com.
Most recent discoveries in Egypt that were published in May 15, 2025 by 3 Italian researchers, Filippo, Corrado, and Armando, are very, very exciting because they were using very advanced, SAR tomography. It's a radar scanning that can penetrate very deep below the Giza Plateau. How do people think that those impressive structures above the ground, that's all that it is? But it is not. It seems it is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, when you look at the Great Pyramid of Egypt, 6.5 million tons of blocks, limestone, and granite, they were transporting all the way from Aswan, 869 kilometers. That's amazing construction feat. But imagine it is just a few percent of the whole structure. But this is what they discovered. 5 elements, real brief. First one is that within the Great Pyramid of Egypt, or Khufu, or Cheops, there are not 3, but 5 chambers. And they're probably right. Secondly, within the Khafre, or Khefen Pyramid, there are not 2, but 5 chambers, and they are probably right. Number 3, there are 8 columns, 2 parallel rows, 4 columns in each row that go down for 565 meters. And we can see some type of descending stairs. That would be amazing in such a strong material if they carve that. Number 4, those 8 columns continue to 2 huge chambers, 80 by 80 meters. And number 5, they're saying that 2.3 kilometers below the Giza Plateau, there is probably the underground city. Some people call it Hall of Amenti. Amenti is the place where the Egyptian gods used to reside, and they had all the knowledge, not only about our planet, but about the universe, and they were immortal. And it is even said that King Tut came to the Hall of Amenti And once he enriched himself and immersed himself in that knowledge, he became immortal also. About this fifth thing, I'm not sure. I saw the scan, but it can be sometime maybe a very elaborate natural cavity system or passageways or something, so we need more information. But first four elements, based on my experience with the GPR scan, because we've been doing that in Bosnia for the last 2 decades, I would say they are probably right. And imagine, Melanie, huge structures above the ground and even much, much bigger underground structures. It is the ancient technology, not a tomb for one dead body. So it came in the perfect time. With our research, they were proving that the Bosnian Pyramid complex is actually huge ancient energy machines, energy amplifiers. Now with these discoveries in Egypt, they really second that what we have in Bosnia. So I think very exciting times are in front of us. It's a shame that mainstream Egyptologists, archaeologists, people like Dr. Zahi Hawass and the others, they reject those discoveries. They don't allow people, geophysicists and the others, to do the true research, and they stick to their thesis. Pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs. Wrong, wrong.
So I've heard you mention, and I've read in some of your stuff, you relate the Bosnian pyramid to the Pleiadian constellation. Tell us.
This is the most exciting discovery from this year, 2025. Namely, once we realize that we have elements of sacred geometry, especially 4 Fibonacci spirals, applied layout of the Bosnian pyramid structures, I was thinking, okay, is there a relationship between the Bosnian pyramids and some of the star systems? And, traveling the world, writing the books, researching Mayan and other civilizations, I realized that the most mentioned star system is the Pleiades star system. Mayan talked about them. They even have one of the calendars. They had 21 calendars. One of them was 52-year calendar. Why? Because it is the time period that it takes for the star system Pleiades, when looking from Earth, to make a full circle going from the most southern to the most northern point of the sky and then coming back. 52 years. So they were following the star system of Pleiades. Aztecs also, Toltecs, Navajo Indians, Hopi Indians, Pueblo Indians, Maori of New Zealand, original people of Australia. Some people call them aboriginal. I'm saying original people of Australia. China, Japan, Africa, Europe. Everybody's talking about the Pleiades. Why? Well, we know from the oral tradition, they were important, but I could not find a scientific connection. And guess what? I was looking at the star map of the Pleiades. They got their name from the Greek mythology. There were 7 sisters of Pleiades in Greek mythology. So there are 7 stars. But also, during 2 months, December and January, we can see 2 additional stars, Plus and Pleione. They call them father and mother. 7 plus 2, it is 9 stars. Guess what? In the Bosnian Pyramids, we also have 9 major points. 6 pyramid tops. Number 7 is tumulus top. Number 8, entrance to underground world, underground tunnels. And number 9, the place where 2 major rivers meet in the Valley of Pyramids, the estuary or the mouth of 2 rivers. So we have 9 points terrestrially, and we have 9 points celestially. So I was looking at the star map for Pleiades, and I was thinking, okay, what could be the connection? First, I could see that 3 Pleiades stars, and with the Maya in the center. Maya is the biggest star, and Maya is the oldest sister. There are 3 stars on one, straight line. In Bosnia, we have 2 straight lines: top of the Moon Pyramid, top of Temple of Mother Earth, top of Dragon. There's one straight line with the 3 pyramids. The other straight line, top of Temple of Mother Earth, Love, Sun, tunnels. But then I was thinking, okay, these are straight lines, they are important, but how many straight lines on the night sky between different stars? Probably hundreds and hundreds, if we can find something more complex. And then, of course, the triangle. Not any triangle, but equilateral triangle. So we have top of the Sun, and the moon, and dragon, equilateral. And there is, of course, one equilateral triangle in the Pleiades star system, again with the Maya. But then I was thinking, okay, on the night sky, we have 100,000 stars that are visible from the Earth. Probably there are many equilateral triangles. If I could find something even more complex, which is mathematically very precise, that would be something. And guess what? It is the Fibonacci spiral. If you have more than 3 points on the spiral, it means it is intentional. Like in Bosnia, on one of the spirals, we have 5 points. Top of the love and the sun and the earth and the dragon and the tumulus. And then estuary, mouth of 2 rivers and top of the moon and one corner of earth, another corner of earth. And then estuary, top of the sun and the underground tunnels and the tumulus. So we have so many Fibonacci spirals. So I'm looking at the star map of the Pleiades. And sure enough, when you start from the Maya, which is like in the middle of the star map, on this Fibonacci spiral, we have 4 stars that are perfectly intersecting with the Fibonacci spiral. So I took this star map, I took the Bosnian Pyramid map, laid them over on each other, and those maps would match. In other words, we have perfect match with what is here on Earth and what is above. As above, so below. How many times we have heard that? And now we discovered a scientific link, Fibonacci link, between the two. And then, with more work, I included those 2 more stars, Atlas and Pleione, and we got 2 more Fibonacci spirals that they perfectly match Bosnian pyramid spirals. And voila, we have probably the biggest archaeoastronomical discovery ever. But then, Melanie, it opens more questions.
Yeah,
Why would somebody on this earth make such a perfect match with the one star system, which is more than 400 light years away? It has to be very specific, very concrete, and very important reason. Yes.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Do you feel like you are here to bring in this ancient civilization and knowledge of basically the stars?
I think some of us are here to bring the awareness of our connection with out of this earth civilizations. Of course, we are not alone in the universe. Our planet has been visited many times. Some of the civilizations, they left their mark. Some of them are totally neutral. Some of them is, from our perspective, we would say bad guys. But I would say that a lot of influence from out of this world. And I think the time has come that we learned about our past and about our true origin.
What did this, learning about, I mean, you've been in this discovery phase, it sounds like, all your life, but the actual Bosnian pyramid complex and everything that you knew about that, did it allow you to know more about yourself personally once you knew about that?
20 years back, when I started the Bosnian pyramid excavation, my goal was to show to the world that we have artificial structure. And indeed, we were covering, removing the soil, exposing those concrete blocks. Then every year we were adding another step, another step. We have expanded to different scientific disciplines, and then to energy aspect, and then to healing aspect, and then to spiritual aspect. And then we built a beautiful park, a cultural aspect, and sports aspect, and artistic, and true history, and what we eat, what we drink. The whole project has become the concept of the future, different future, not the one that we offer today as the new Western values, transhumanism, graded human with the biochip under our skin so we can be controlled 24 hours a day, GMO trash, which they call food, poisoned water, poisoned food, digital money, digital banks, no cash, no freedom. I mean, we offer a different future where we will not lose our humanity. Future where we're going to live in a balance with the spiritual and the physical aspect of our life. Future where we're going to live in, harmony among us, normal, good intentional people, and harmony with the mother planet. So you see how from the pure archaeological work. This has become my life's mission. So yes, this project has been having a huge effect on my personal growth. It is, it's not just one, it grows. It supports each other. And even pyramids, you learn some stuff, reading, people like Nikola Tesla and the others who knew that everything is energy. Tesla said, you want to find out the secrets of the universe, you need to view them through the, energy, frequency, and the vibrations. And indeed, our project in Bosnia is not an archaeological project. It's about the energy because pyramids amplifies the natural sources of energy. It's about frequencies because we have measured very specific frequencies which are beneficial and affect our vibration level as people, vibration level of the water and the food and the stones. Everything vibrates. Everything is alive in a sense. These are the stuff that we have learned through this project. When I look at this pyramid, when I'm driving the highway, I look at it, it's covered by forest, it's beautiful. The pyramids are ancient energies too. We are energies. Energies communicate and we learn from each other. Our good positive energy that we bring to our project, positive energy of the people who come here, affects the pyramid energy and vice versa. The pyramid energy affects our energy fields. So that way you learn it. We are all one. So yes, my life has totally changed, or at least I started using my abilities, my capabilities, and fulfilling destiny that I had even before I was born.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As far as, tell us about, right now you're bringing together people. You have an event coming up this summer and it's a conference that I'm so excited to know about it and to book it. So tell us about what's going on, who you're accumulating, the kinds of people that you're bringing together, and what you want to see out of that.
I'm so proud of this project. I travel the world. I invite people to come to visit us, to join us, either as guests, tourists, visitors, volunteers, researchers, media, because I think that we have very important messages that should be the global messages. We need to raise the awareness and raise the global consciousness, and Bosnian pyramids are playing major part there. One of the major trademarks, I would say, the summer solstice, we organize tour, conference, and the festival. It's 1 week or 10 days long. It's coming year 2026. It will be from June 14 to June 24, 10 days conference. 2025, we had also excellent conference. In 25, we had people like Michael Tellinger of South Africa, great researcher, and Valery Uvarov, the most productive pyramid builder from St. Petersburg, from Russia. He had the people like Dr. J.J. Fertak and Dr. Desiree Fertak, pyramid researchers from the US. In 2026, we're going to have people like Michael Cremo. He's the legendary author of the book called Forbidden Archaeology. It was from 4 decades ago where we opened a whole new chapter, and he inspired thousands of the researchers around the world to go very carefully through, ancient historical sites. You're going to have people like Dr. Billy Carson, very popular, he has millions and millions of viewers on, his YouTube channels and other people who interviewed him. We're going to have Brad Olson, also from US, excellent researcher. We're going to have 2 best researchers from Australia, Stephen and Evan Strong. They are authors of many books. They talk about the true history of Australia. We have an excellent CERN nuclear physicist, Dr. Jan Rak from Czech Republic, who realized that it's not only the physical material science that can give us answers, but also consciousness and energy and spirituality. We're going to have a few more researchers from England, from Australia, from different countries. So it's going to be happening in June. Of course, people can come visit Bosnian pyramids at any time. We are open every day of the year. But in June is special because we will be able to get together with the people who apply, who come and join us. So it will be full day every day. In the mornings, we're going to be visiting the sites. I'll be leading the groups. This is the only time of the year when I'm busy showing all the sites to visitors. Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, oldest pyramid on the planet, the best quality concrete. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, the tumulus, perfect energy on this artificial conical hill. Several different tunnels, or beautiful parks. And in the afternoon and the evening hours, we're going to have a conference. We give enough time, 3 hours or even more, to our guest speakers to talk about different topics from ancient history to energy and consciousness. So during those 10 days, people will be able to see all the pyramids, but also sites like megalithic stone spheres, megalithic walls in different parts of Bosnia. So this is a, once in a lifetime event. And I'm very proud that I host this event once a year. 2026 will probably have the highest caliber speakers ever that we had. So I think that's the right time that you are coming, and who's ever listening, they can join us either through you, through your show, through our websites, bosnianpyramids.pa. And I think they're going to have a blast. And in the evening hours, 2 days, Friday and Saturday, we're going to have a festival, dance and music, kind of nice stuff. So people love us, and we love them back, and they're going to have a really unique experience.
So my perception of Bosnia has been, I feel like it's been obfuscated a little bit from, I had this perception of Bosnia based off of all the images that we saw with the war. And, when I was told about this, my perception of Bosnia, I think, is completely different than it is in reality. So for anyone else that has, maybe just tell us, the reality of travel in Bosnia, the safety of Bosnia. Just clue us into what it really is, because we have this image, or at least I do here in Canada. I have this image that I don't think is accurate.
Gladly. In the 1990s, the beginning of 1990s, there was a terrible war here. But the war was over 30 years ago. The country has been rebuilt. But the Bosnian Pyramid District, as we call it, brings totally new perspective, new picture of Bosnia. Plus the summertime, everything is green and beautiful, and our park with the flowers and, such a colorful. People love that. They relax. They forget the busyness that we can see in the Western world, Western Europe, America, Canada, Australia. People are mostly out there, for the money, for profit, for big jobs, not the stress. In our case, it's totally different. People come, they relax, they love the tunnels, they meditate, and hear so many healing testimonials. Everything is so, I would say slow, stress-free, and safe. Bosnia is probably one of the safest countries in the world. Unfortunately, media portray countries based on extreme stuff, incidents and accidents. When you think about Lebanon, you would say, they have the war there also. No, that's, it's a really nice country, or some countries in Europe. Russian-Ukraine war, which should be over by then, it's far, far away from us. Bosnia is very well connected with different airports. So people can fly to Sarajevo International Airport. If you're coming from Canada or from US, your connection can be either Istanbul or Munich or Frankfurt or Zurich or Vienna or, different big cities. And then like from Vienna, it's just another hour flight to Bosnia, to Sarajevo, or from Istanbul, it's an hour and a half. So very well connected. And then from the airport, when we organize our conferences, we come to the airport to pick up our guests. We take them to the town of Visoko, to this excellent 5-star hotel. It's a spa hotel. It's a nice shopping mall, the first 2 floors, and the swimming pool and all this stuff. But really, people don't think so much about the swimming pool and the features and amenities of the hotel, because most of the day they are with us in the tunnels, in the park, seeing different sites, listening very interesting lectures. In the evening, they can rest a little bit. So, like I said, they will love the experience, and they are in the safe hands.
Yeah.
And food, I need to mention that. When I moved from then Yugoslavia or Bosnia 35 years ago to America, the first thing I could notice was that the food is tasteless. Meat, at that time I did eat meat. No taste, no nothing. Why? Because GMO food, because of poisons, because of pesticides. Well, in Bosnia it's different. Still, I would say half-half. Half is organic and half is the Western influence, GMO and pesticides. But every day we hired the local women organization to prepare us food that actually they grow themselves. The vegetables, the fruits, we have fruit juices, vegetables, potato, tomato, everything else. They got it from their own garden. So take the tomato, it smells, it's very tasting. So I think people will love that experience also.
It sounds delightful. And to anyone listening, we're going to absolutely have all the links up in the show notes. But I wanted to get into this idea of do you think that there's an intentional targeting of ancient sites through war?
Not really. At that time, like 35 years ago, people even didn't know about the existence of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Only, when we went there for the first time in 2005, 20 years back, people realized that there is a very important ancient sites under the layers of soil, vegetation, bushes, and forests. So people are there right now. Then they didn't know about it.
Yeah. Okay. I just had to ask that. So this idea of future technology and this whole idea of AI, do you think any of that relates to any of this ancient technology? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, we have to be careful and balanced when we talk about technological development. I'm not against it. If it is a great help, for example, work in the coal mines or some other stuff, repetitive stuff, routine work, it's good to have technology. It's good to have that people don't expose themselves to, very, very hard work. But then when you come to the situation that artificial intelligence is becoming a kind of danger to humanity and it's becoming very, very quick. Once you open the AI possibility that it has a free access to internet and then it can start, rebuilding itself. The algorithms are not done by people anymore, but by artificial intelligence itself. It means that at one point, AI will produce super AI. Not only that it's going to process the information so much quicker than us people, but it's going to get its own form of intelligence. It won't be human intelligence. But once, let's say, the super AI starts thinking, what we've been doing to this planet as a civilization, in the last 150 years, we have exterminated more than 50% of all plant and animals, us people. We've been destroying our planet, energy resources, profit, and so on. So they probably will conclude that the biggest threat for this planet are the humans. And what about AI decides just one simple step to cut off the electricity from us? In 5 days, we would have chaos on this planet. We would start killing ourselves, each other. Why? Without electricity, the banks don't work. You cannot get the money. The gas stations don't work. You cannot get gas for your car. The stores will not be working. So people will start stealing. And then those who have, weapons, they will start torturing the others. So in 5 days, we will go straight to the Stone Age without electricity. Guess what? AI in charge of our electricity. Not to mention that they are in charge of our nuclear weapons, our chemical weapons, our biological warfare. They could start that easily. Just, they press the button. So I would say that we are going to a very uncertain future. We need to find the ways to limit what AI can decide and what they cannot decide. Now, when it comes to the ancients, of course, they had similar challenges. And of course, probably there are some cases that AI, to cover different civilizations in the universe. It is, a real possibility. But the problem with the AI, they don't have the world of ideas like we have. They don't have enthusiasm. They're not curious. They just process the information. Why should they care about expanding into the universe, discovering the new worlds? We do care about. But what we need to work on is our level of consciousness, because our technology is far ahead of what we as beings are ready to accept. If our priorities is to have more than the others, to have territorial gains, to have more profit, to have more material stuff, then we have a problem. But if we are there, and if we think in a sense of sharing and giving and making the whole population happy and satisfied, then it is different. So we need to come to that level. Technology can help to a certain extent, but we have to find the ways, maybe through the laws, to limit as far as technology can go.
Yeah. Yes, it's a huge conversation. So, do you think if mainstream science suddenly validated the pyramid energy, and I know you've probably come up against a lot of resistance, but if everything that you're saying has been validated tomorrow, what do you think would change in our healthcare system?
Well, there will be a lot of changes. And you're right, mainstream science, they've been attacking me from the very beginning. Archaeologists, geologists, historians, Institute for Archaeology, European Archaeological Associations, Ministry of Cultures, from all over the world. Most of them, they never came to Bosnia. They didn't like an idea of new discoveries. They didn't like idea that we extend this time frame deep, deep in the past, because it brings so much revolutionary changes in our work. And then plus, we are not closed like they are. We are the most open project in the world. Anybody can come, volunteer, work with us. So we're bringing so much refreshing news, and some orthodox, conservative circles don't like that. But unfortunately, they have the power. They rule the media, Wikipedia, Encyclopedia Britannica, National Geographic, all those media who's been attacking me in the last 2 decades. But the truth is coming on the surface. Bigger discovery, more resistance, but it's going to come to the surface thanks to some other discoveries. Must not forget that our friend Dr. Danny Hillman discovered the pyramids in West Java, Gunung Padang, which is 27,000 years old. They attacked him also. Those Italian researchers with the discoveries of what's under the Khafre or Khafre pyramid, they've been attacked also. But more and more discoveries, you won't be able to stop that. You cannot contain everything. Even though you have all this mainstream media, they cannot control all the social media, all our Facebooks and Instagrams and TikToks and YouTubes and everything else. So it's coming, and people are, getting ready to accept one simple fact, that everything that mainstream science claims is not right. We need to go there and check every claim, every statement they have. In some things they're right, in some things they're simply not. Why? Because they want to control us. And they know, less we know as ordinary people, we are easier to be controlled. They're aware of that. So in knowledge, we're going to find our freedom. So your question is, what would happen once they recognize that? Everything changes. So we don't have linear history. We have cyclical history. People will start asking questions. So what was happening in the previous cycle? Did the land of Atlantis really exist? How did they live? How about Lemuria? How about Madeleine Mu or Og in Peru? All those ancient civilizations, what was their technological level? Did they have their spaceships? Did they have very advanced spiritual life? Were they aware of soul, which is almost immortal? Physical body, of course, it is for one time. But if they were aware of soul that goes from one body to another, and probably they did not have fear in their life. And guess what, Melanie? In our lives, our civilization, everything is based on fear. Fear is everywhere. Fear is in academia. Assistant professors are afraid what they're going to say if they're going to fire them from dean's office. Media, new, fresh journalists, they are afraid what they're going to write. If they write something wrong, they're going to fire them. Corporate world, political fear everywhere. If you lose the job, you lose the ability to pay your, mortgage or pay your commercial loans. You lose your car, you lose your house, you lose your apartment, you lose your ability to fund the education of your kids. So everybody lives in fear. They obey. Well, guess what? The new time has come. We are not here to obey all the way up to the elites. We are here to live free. Freedom is our divine right. It is our cosmic right. The life without fear. So, real truth about the ancient civilizations is also the story about us and our freedom of choice. That's why the Bosnian Pyramid experience is so much more than the archaeology.
Honestly, that brings tears to my eyes because everything that you just said there is, I think, what everyone's looking for. This sense of self, this sense of autonomy, this sense of sovereignty, this sense of freedom, and this ability to be able to just, connect with others in that like experience. And so you connecting all those dots and saying all that, it's very emotional for me.
Good.
Yeah. Well, this is just, I feel like this is just, a 2-second blip of a much huger conversation. I mean, we could go so many different ways on this, but, I think for the sake of one podcast, we'll maybe leave it at that, Sam. But is there anything else that you would like to share with us just on the importance of what you feel that this discovery is?
Through this discovery, I came to prove to myself, number one, and then to the world, that this was a life worth living for. And then I had to come up with so much to overcome, the challenges that were placed, the walls that were built by the cultural establishment, archaeologists, historians, media, all of those people against one small foundation and one small man. And then I realized we are here to live this life in a dignified way, to follow, in my case, scientific arguments and to follow the dreams. And once you do that, you feel yourself fulfilled and you realize that you affect so many other people who come and who's going to come, who were here before. It's not a small number of people. Last year, 245,000 visitors, 250,000 people. 18 years ago, 10,000 people. Now it's 250,000. So many people are coming and we affect them, their lives, their destinies, and I'm very happy to see that. But it's not me who's preaching out there, telling them how they should live. No. In my case, it was really only about me and about my personal spiritual development. And I could see how I've been developing through the time. And once you change yourself, then you become that force of the change. You start changing other people with your example.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for everything you're doing and just everything that you're being and your accomplishments of everything that you've from what I understand, it's been a little bit of a swim upriver at times. And I want to thank you for just keeping going and still having this quest of knowledge and quest of the ancient histories just being presented to the world in a different way.
Exactly. Good. Thank you, Melanie.
Well, thank you, Sam. We appreciate you. And I can't wait to come to Bosnia. All right, we'll end that here.